Monstro is supposed to be a sperm whale. Pause. I know what some of y'all thinking. Get your mind out the fucking gutter, okay? That's the name of it. It's a sperm whale, all right? If you ever took any kind of science class in school, you know about the different type of whales. The hunchback whale, the blue whale, the whale shark, and you got the sperm whale, which is one of the biggest whales there is. Alright, so I assume maybe 5 or 6 of you are going to watch this video because for some reason YouTube doesn't believe that a bald Puerto Rican looking black man with a potty mouth can talk about a Disney movie and people will watch the video, and hopefully this one will prove them wrong. Most likely not. YouTube controls this shit like fucking like the Watcher, so ain't much I can do. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going to talk about this anyway. Pinocchio dropped today. Alright? And this is, of course, another remake. A trend that Disney's doing where they're remaking old classics. I'm not a fan of many of them. Probably the only one I really liked was The Jungle Book. So here comes Pinocchio. And I had faith in this one because I watched the trailer. And where a lot of these movies go wrong is that they try to really separate themselves from the original and try to make it different, but yet sort of the same. Lion King is the best example of that. Lion King, they actually use like real lions. Okay, well, of course it's CG, but like real lions. I'm like, no, it didn't work for me. So here we are. We have this one now. The design of Pinocchio looks exactly like he did in the animated movie. I said, okay, I can get down with this. Then I saw Jimmy the Cricket and what's the fish name, Cleo and Figaro. I said, okay. This looks like the OG. So getting right to it, I really enjoyed this movie, y'all. I did. This movie put a smile on my face. I felt like I was a kid again. Okay, so it took everything that I loved about the original Pinocchio and put a little bit more flavor on it. You know what I mean? So, and that's very hard for a movie to pull off without being an exact copycat. So even though this movie did copy the original, but at the same time did have a little freshness to it where I'm like, okay, I know where this goes, but I'm enjoying this. So overall, man, I really enjoyed this joint. But here's my gripes, okay? I wouldn't be a critic if I didn't have some gripes. And these are serious gripes. These are gripes that kept me from giving this movie an A or an A+. And that is what made me nervous from the beginning. I said, okay, this movie is going to live or die by how they treat the Pleasure Island scene and how they treat the Monstro the Whale scene. So prior to that, everything worked, okay? Most everything. Okay, they did introduce a new character when Stromboli got him, this chick who really served no purpose. You know, I don't even know why she was there, but they just need to add a new character or something. I don't know. By the way, shout out to Robert Zemeckis. He directed this. I said, okay, this definitely has Robert Zemeckis' name written all over it. Music was scored by Alan Silvestri. Brilliant composer. I'm in. They introduced this new character. I'm not a big fan of hers. Okay, boom. Let that go. Everything else is working. Now we get to the Pleasure Island scene. And the OG, that shit was kind of dark. It was creepy. Okay, even for a Disney movie, that shit was creepy as hell. Like, they bring a bunch of kids to an island where they could do whatever they wanted to do. They're drinking beer, they're smoking cigars and all that stuff. And I know you can't show kids doing that, so I know I can't really be too critical because, okay, you can't have kids smoking cigars and stuff, even though they kind of had them doing it. And I just thought about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. Yeah, you know, when Shredder had the warehouse and all the kids were smoking and drinking and stuff. But, you know, I guess you can't do that now. The Pleasure Island stuff was visually dazzling. Okay, some of the visuals I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Okay, this looks like an actual place I would like to visit, except for all the clowns all over the place. I have a fear of clowns. Yeah, the Pleasure Island stuff was working, but they had them drinking root beer and no cigars. Okay, cool. Finally, the scene happens where Pinocchio and this boy are playing pool. And one of my favorite scenes in the OG, you know, when the boy starts to become a jackass, and he's like, yeah, what do I look like? A jackass? Hee-haw! Did that come out of me? And what made it funny was, you know, in the OG, right? So when Pinocchio sees him turning, Pinocchio looks at his beard, he says, and it was hilarious. This time around, for some reason, it didn't work. It didn't have the same punch. You know, maybe because I knew that scene was coming or something. I don't know, but it just didn't have the same punch as that OG one, so I didn't laugh as much. And I just felt like they didn't take enough time with the Pleasure Island stuff. But I guess you had to kind of tiptoe around it because if you make it too dark, now you got to make it PG-13. And of course, parents are stupid. Okay, parents will be like, oh, that's too violent for my child, Disney. Please change it. Okay. Fuck him. Now we get to Monstro the Whale, the crescendo, the final climax, the big battle, and excuse me. See, that shit made me cough. This is one of those moments where like you're on a ride and the ride is like going good, and then it gets to the end and it's like, that was it. Okay, well that was still kind of fun. That's how I felt. The Monster of the Whale scene was terrible. First of all, he wasn't even a whale. It was some kind of sea creature with tentacles and shit, and it didn't even look menacing. Go back to that 1940 Pinocchio. I don't care if you're old like me or a young buck. That scene was fucking spectacular. The animation, the way they drew him, the sound, the scope of it, you know what I'm saying? Yo, that scene was epic. And with this, I'm like, what? Come on, Zemeckis, you're responsible for Forrest Gump, you know, Roger Rabbit. You know, shout out to all the clocks too, by the way. Yeah, you know, spoiler here. Yeah, all the clocks in Geppetto's little shop each represented a different Disney property or whatever. But yeah, the Monstro scene was terrible. I'm like, yo, first of all, it's not even a whale. Monstro was supposed to be a sperm whale. Pause. I know what some of y'all thinking. Get your mind out the fucking gutter, okay? That's the name of it. It's a sperm whale, all right? If you ever took any kind of science class in school, you know about the different type of whales. The hunchback whale, the blue whale, the whale shark, and you got the sperm whale, which is one of the biggest whales there is. Monstro was wasted, and also they tried to switch it where in the OG, Pinocchio was the one that dies, and Geppetto was crying over him. He's like, you know, Pinocchio, I can't believe you're dead. And well, why did I just sound like a Mexican right there? Yeah, but that was a touching scene because Pinocchio wakes up, and it was also kind of funny because Pinocchio wakes up, he's like, Father, I'm alive. He's like, no, you're dead. Now just lie down. But no, they changed it to where Geppetto dies and Pinocchio's crying over him, and in the end, he becomes a real boy. That was the whole point of the movie where, you know, the final moment is supposed to be Pinocchio becoming a real boy, and then it goes off into When You Wish Upon a Star. But they changed it, but it looks like they took from, now I never read the book, so I know some of you Pinocchio purists are going to be like, well, Rashad, actually, that was in the book, so you don't know what you're talking about. Understand the source material before you comment on something like that. Man, thick my bick, okay? I don't give a damn. Man, fuck the book. I'm talking about the OG movie, goddammit. I'm talking about the OG Pinocchio that I enjoyed as a shorty, okay? I remember my mom was yelling at me, Rashad, go take a bath, get out, got my Hulk pajamas on. I'm sitting in front of the TV, covers over me, watching Pinocchio at night. It just gives you just the warm and fuzzies. You know, every time I watch that old Pinocchio movie, I revert back to being a kid again. You know, I'm no longer the big, almost 300-pound man that you see. I become that little boy that had to go take a bath and put on my Hulk pajamas where they was all twisted and shit. That just sounded like I just ranted, didn't I? Well, I'm ranting about the last scene, okay? The last scene, the last act, kind of made it, you know, a little, okay. But I still had a fun time with this movie. So wrapping it up, I'm going to give Pinocchio a B. Okay, I'm going to give it a B. The reason why I can't give it an A is because of how they messed up Pleasure Island and the Monstro scene. And those are the two key scenes that I feel like make or break this movie. But unfortunately, even though I didn't like those two scenes, it didn't break the movie because the rest of the movie was spectacular. Shout out to Tom Hanks as Geppetto, alright? And Honest John and the Stupid Cat. I love them too. Anyways, B is what I got for Pinocchio. What did you guys think about it? Comment freely below. And yes, I do. At first, I was like, well, this could have been shown in the theater, you know. But by the end, I said, nah, this belongs on Disney Plus. If that Monstro scene would have been a little bit more epic, and I did watch it on the wall with my projector, so I didn't watch it on the small screen. So shut the fuck up. I watched it theater style. Yeah, Disney Plus is kind of where it belongs. That's it and that's all. If you like and dig this content, hit that like and subscribe, notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.